Today on the Signature Life podcast, we got the one and only Tod Barton, the newest member of the Signature leadership team. He's joined Signature as our sales manager, and he brings a lot of depth and knowledge to the real estate industry, and we're very excited to have him today.
Welcome to the Signature Life podcast, where we sit down with signature real estate agents with a shared conviction that moving towards things we want in life starts with the choices we make today. We are creating an ever-evolving culture for those who wish to participate in a larger mission to help others achieve their full potential and a signature life.
So, Tod Barton.
Yes, sir. So I don't know if you know this, but it's really Brian.
Brian Tod Barton.
Yeah, so I go by Todd. My mom calls me Brian, so don't call me Brian, just Todd.
Just your mom can. and then they misspelled Todd too.
Yeah, so that's also my mom's fault. Tease her about that all the time. She's obviously back in the 60s, she really wasn't good at spelling. So
Your mind was on other things?
Just one D, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one D.
So are you from Vegas? Or?
Yeah, so I'm actually, funny story, glad. So I'm actually born in Whittier, California. My parents were on vacation. So I was born in Whittier. 2 days later, I left Whittier and came back to Vegas. So I'm born and raised in Vegas. I don't know anything else. I've always been here my whole life. Yeah, been here 52 years. So
never lived anywhere else.
I've lived in the South for a little while. Traveled around Europe a little bit, but actual places to live is right here in Vegas. I don't know why anybody would live anywhere else, to be honest.
No, I love it down here.
Yeah, the weather's perfect. The people are good.
What'd you do in the South?
I was actually down there serving a mission for my church.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I spent 2 years down in the Louisiana area.
LDS?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Salt Lake, so.
You know all about that then.
Yeah. So down there, so you served 2 years down there?
Yeah.
And then you just came back, huh?
Baton Rouge, New Orleans area, Lafayette, just all through the South, Mobile, Alabama for a little bit. So, yeah, just kind of fell in love with the food down there, and those are good people down there too. But haven't been back in several years. I need to go back and just kind of visit and see how it goes. And then, came back. My dad owned an automotive repair shop here in town for years and years and years, and that's kind of where I started, was sweeping floors and cleaning toilets there, and then ultimately ended up running a portion of the company for a while before I got into other things.
How was it working for your dad or with your dad?
Working with him was awesome. Working for him was horrible, to be honest. I mean, great guy, don't get me wrong. Just sometimes working with families challenging at times.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I came out of my dad got my first job in the restaurant industry, and then he opened his own deli, and I went in and worked with him on that, and that was tough.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, my dad did everything I ever needed him to do. I mean, did everything right. Just sometimes it's hard when your dad's the boss and you have to be the boss's son, and that has challenges in itself as well. But I learned a lot there. I worked in the automotive repair business for 20 years.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun at times. Did a lot of fun stuff, a lot of drag racing, and a lot of fun car stuff.
So you actually drove the drag cars?
Yeah. So we had a 210-inch rear engine blown on alcohol dragster that we used to race in the sand. It was a lot of fun.
How fast did you get it going?
So in the sand drags, they run 100 yards, and we do that in under 3 seconds.
Wow.
So pretty fast. Not clear on miles per hour. It's too long ago for me to remember that. But
you don't even have time to look down at a speedometer if you had one.
Yeah, there wasn't much time to do much of anything.
Right.
Corrections or anything like that. It was just on and off. It was like a light switch, literally like a light switch. Just it was full throttle, nothing in less than 3 seconds.
Any scary moments in the car?
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, one. So when the car, trying to stage the car, my dad came out and adjusted the idle. And when he did it, he didn't lock the nut down for the idle screw. So in that 3 seconds, the idle screw screwed all the way in. And so when I let off the throttle at the other end, it was still full throttle.
Oh, geez.
So, I was literally, the track's probably a mile long before it comes to a fence. And I got it stopped sideways about 6 feet from the fence. So yeah, that was a little exciting.
Was it the last run, or
No,
did you get
we
back
went-
in the
Yeah, we
car?
went right back in the car. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
an hour later and made another pass. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I was pretty young. I was 21, 22 when that was all going on.
Didn't really know any better anyway.
No, all I knew was to step on the throttle, and when the light turned green, let go of the button, and off I'd go.
You were gone.
Yeah. And I think that's the fun part of it. Like my dad had to worry about all the technical stuff and what about this and what about that, and let's make this adjustment. And I just got in it and drove it, which was most of the fun.
So did he drive too, or?
He did. Before we had the dragster, we had an extended Jeep that was blown on, or was injected on alcohol. So he drove that. I think I only drove that car once before he sold that and then got this dragster. So again, that's a long time ago, though. That's a lot of old memories there.
What other exciting things have you done?
I don't know. I play a lot of golf. Build some custom Harleys. That's kind of fun. I haven't done that in a few years. To be honest with you, all the fun stuff I did before I got into real estate. And now I do real estate, and it's like this takes up all your time. And maybe it's because I'm quite a bit older and hang out with my family more than I used to. So that, but we have a cabin up in Utah. So that's, for me, that's kind of my getaway. Go head up there for a weekend or a week or whatever it needs and just hang out at the cabin. And
Down in southern Utah? Or?
yeah, above Cedar City, up
Okay.
at a place called Duck Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people have cabins up there.
Yeah, I think it's
The place to go.
Nevada. It's really Vegas on the weekends. There's tons of people up there from
Yeah.
Vegas all the time. Yeah, so that's fun. That cabin's been, my grandparents built that cabin in 1973, and then just recently, last year, both my grandparents are gone now. So just recently, we've purchased it from their trust. So now it's actually ours, and we use it as we need to, and it's kind of fun.
That's cool. So you're married. How many kids do you have?
Married, 3 kids.
3 kids?
2 grandkids.
Wow.
So yeah.
What's better, kids or grandkids?
Get rid of your kids right now and get some grandkids. No question about it.
I'm not going to lie. When I had Tyson, and the way my dad treated him, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, yeah. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have 2 grandkids. Both of them, one of them is currently 3, and one of them is currently 4, but they're only 5
fun.
months apart. So they're almost identical little boys that tear stuff up, and that's part of the fun for me. Is it's really weird when you have kids and they tear stuff up. You're all mad about it, but when your grandkids are tearing stuff up, it's like the best. It's just weird. So 3 kids. I got my son Jake. He's 29, going to be 30 this year, married to Sam, and they have a little boy, Hudson. He's the one that's 3. And then I've got a daughter that's 24, Tyler, and she has the 4-year-old. And then I've got my youngest is 21, Madison. You've seen them all come through here. I mean, they come in the office all the time. So married for 25 years to Paula. Her name's Paula.
Beautiful.
We call her a lot of different stuff, but she goes by Honey now because she's a grandma. So she doesn't like to be called grandma. So she gets called Honey, and I'm Dude.
Dude, you don't like to be called grandpa?
I'm okay. It didn't really matter to me, but
Dude works.
that's just how they started calling me Dude, and I'm like, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Call me whatever you want. Let's just play. Let's tear something up.
Right on. So how long you been doing real estate?
So I got my license at 05. So I don't know, what is that? It's going to be my 15th year, I guess, this year. And started just across the parking lot. At that time, it was Prudential. And I was there for about 6 months, and then moved over to my last brokerage, which I was at for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been doing it for a while. Short sales was kind of my thing. That's when I got in the business in 05. I did a couple of deals at the beginning of 06, and then the market really started to turn and go down. And as you know, 07, 08 were tragic years in Vegas, and got involved in the short sale business. And
how'd you discover that?
Actually, a good friend, his name's Dave Jinks. You may have heard of him. He's written a couple of real estate books. I just asked him one day, because I was pretty new. I just said, hey, if I was going to stay in this business, because it looks like it's going to be tough for a while, would I go after the REO business? Would I go after bank-owned property stuff, or would I go for short sales? And how I was introduced to short sales is my mother bought an investment property, and then her tenant moved out in the middle of the night, and she was just not happy about it, and just said, you know what, I'm just not want to do it anymore. Let's just get rid of it. Let's sell the house.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the research, I found out that she owed more than what she could sell it for. And so that's how I got introduced. I started asking around. I was brand new in the business. I've been in for a year, and I'm like, what do I do now? Like, what happens next? And people are like, well, try a short sale. All right, what's a short sale? We don't really know, but do a short sale. So
Sounds like a good thing.
yeah, called up the bank and got on the phone with the right guy. This is the very beginning of the whole downturn, and when you could actually call the bank and talk to somebody that wasn't hiding. And he said, yeah, send me an offer and we'll look at it and see what it works. And in 14 days, we had an approval and closed it the next 30 days. And I was like,
This is easy.
this is awesome. Yeah. I'm like, why is everybody so afraid of short sales? This is great. I mean, she got off, didn't have to pay any extra money, and it was all good.
And you were hooked.
And I was hooked, and it got busy. So at one time at the highest peak of my short sale business, I had 120 properties that were listed, and we were under contract on that I was negotiating with the bank on, and some of those even had second mortgages on them. So not only would I be calling Wells Fargo, but Bank of America for the second, or whoever had bought that second mortgage. So I would literally go to the office at 5 a.m. So that I could be on the phone at 6 when the banks opened on the East Coast. And then I'd call all day long, 5 days a week, and negotiate short sales. So that was, quite honestly, that's the part of the business I really fell in love with, was the kind of the negotiating and the kind of the hard part. Not really the showing houses and taking listings was never my wheelhouse, but in the short sale times, it was a lot of fun to get on the phone and try to get banks to do things they didn't want to do. And
So I imagine you had a whole team around you.
so Amy Bishop, It was me and her.
The two of you
two
did
of
all
us.
those.
She sat at the desk and held off the agents that were trying to come in the door to give us more listings. And I sat in the back of our office and stayed on the phone and called, and she helped me with paperwork. And it was the two of us. And now I look back now, it was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of challenges. But I, again, pretty new to the business. I didn't know any. It's just like driving the race car, right? This is what you do. Okay, this is what I do. And so I'd go in every day and do it.
And the money's good when it finally starts
once
coming
you
in.
finally get it rolling, the money was pretty good. It was pretty scary there for a while. But
Sure, because they don't really happen in 2 weeks or 30 days. So
No, so 14 days was my shortest one. Happened to be the very first one I did with my mother. And then my longest one was 3 years and 3 months.
wow.
That was a big house up in Summerlin that the bank just refused to do anything on. We went through like 4 buyers, had to go, every time you get a new buyer, you got to go through the process again. And so, 3 years, 3 months. And that one happened to be my sister's house. So shortest and the longest were all in the
family.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good way to learn, right?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was a good way to make a living back then, and made me fall in love with the real estate business, really, to be honest.
When you were doing those, I mean, where were you getting most of it? Was it agents referring it to you because they didn't know how to do it, or?
Exactly. Like literally come to work, like I say, come in at 5 so I could be on the phone by 6. And we had a bookcase. This is even back before like online file storage was a thing. Was when we were still turning stuff in paper to the brokerages. So we had a bookcase, 7-foot bookcase that had 1-inch binders, and each binder had the name of the property on the spine, and then it had every document, the offers, all the listing stuff, everything that we needed that we would have to fax over. Back when we had
Multiple
to fax.
times.
Yeah, and you had to fax the same file 10 times before they'd even acknowledge they got it, kind of thing. So I'd come, head out of the office, 9 or 10 o'clock to get something to eat or something. There'd be 4 or 5 agents standing at my door waiting to talk to Amy about giving us another listing. Because, people were just afraid of them, just didn't know how to do them.
That was cool. So you found a good niche and jumped in there.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good way to stay in the business. And to be quite honest, when the market shifted from distress to more traditional, as a real estate agent, I really struggled. Like I had never really been in the traditional real estate
Market.
and so it was a tough transition for me, to be honest.
So when you did those the short sales, did you stay in contact with those clients after? Or?
Yeah, so we have database full of people that had owners, and by the way, that was the advice Dave Jinks gave me. Was he says, I think you should look at the short sale business because you'll have people in your database that are used to owning homes, and they'll want to own again. And so those are the people you want to get in touch with. If you're going to be doing bank-owned properties, it's a business decision. It's not, there's no emotion there, and you'll get what you'll get, and then it'll be over. And he was 100% right. I mean, I don't know how many people that were the rock star REO agent back in the day who are now
Gone.
Giving lessons up on the hill for skiing or something. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, I mean, it was true. There was a lot of after business. I know that getting a loan after that whole thing happened was quite a challenge, and so it's taken a while. I even have people who are still not quite there where they can go and buy a house, but we'll stay in touch with them, and when it happens, it happens. We'll be available to help.
How quick did you start seeing some of them re-enter the market?
Well, 3 years used to be, 5 to 7 years is where it started, when the lending industry said, hey, you're not going to be able to buy something for 5 to 7 years. It quickly went down to 3 years. And so we had people that waited to the day that they could actually go and get it done, and they started buying houses again. So 3 years, and now it's 18 months, depending on what product you pick, and you can get stuff done quicker. And there are still some short sales out there. People are still doing them. And you can get in faster than 18 months now. You just got to pay a higher interest rate, a little more down payment. So there's a lot of programs now that let people get in. But it was about 3 years, I would say, average before we start seeing enough of those people get back into the market that I could make a living.
Mm-hmm. So you say it was tough to kind of get into the traditional market. Well, what kind of things did you do to generate business? Because this would be a good somebody could use this, a brand new agent coming in the business. You got to go back.
Let me be clear. I was a brand new agent coming into the business and had been doing it for 5 or 6 years, because not that I'd never been on a listing appointment, but I had never been on a listing appointment that wasn't with somebody I knew personally. Being from Vegas my entire life, my sphere's pretty big, and so most of the deals I did that weren't short sales were just friends and family. And so I had to learn how to go on a listing appointment. Like, I had to learn how to do a buyer consult. I would have people ask me what my buyer consult looked like, and I'd, deer in the headlight look. I don't even know what you're talking about. What does that even mean? And I literally had to learn. And honestly, the way that I think that I did it the most effectively was through scripts. Like, I got a hold of some good scripts, and I just learned them. I just in my head over and over and over and over and over and over until I knew the script well.
So you were determined to make it. So
I had a wife and 3 kids and 2 dogs and car payments and houses. And I
had motivation.
Disco, right? I had motivation. I had to make it. I didn't really have another choice. Before I was in the real estate business, I owned a golf store.
Did you?
And, yeah. So
you must be a pretty good golfer then.
I'm not very good. Haven't played golf in a long time.
Because you got into real estate.
Yeah, I'm into real estate now. Yeah, so the golf business was a lot of fun. We did a lot of selling on eBay, is where we sold. In fact, we did a little over $1 million in business our first year in an office that was 10 by 10. Like, we weren't even available to the public. We were only selling online through eBay. And then the golf industry changed, saying that you can't buy golf equipment unless you have a brick and mortar store. And so
was that just here locally, or was that
that was
everywhere?
That was everywhere. That was TaylorMade and Titleist, and like all the big manufacturers just said, look, we're not going to sell to you. We can't sell to you unless you've got a brick and mortar store. So that caused us. We opened a store, 5,000 square foot store up on Trop in Fort Apache, called the Golf Monster. It was a lot of fun. A little simulator in the back. We play a lot of simulated golf back there, and then played a lot of golf during the week and stuff. So. That was a cool business to be in. I was more the webmaster, like a self-taught webmaster, put pictures up online. We sold tour putters. So you had to have good pictures of putters that different tour players had used and had their names, and we would sell that kind of stuff. So it was pretty fun. And then my partner wanted to play professional poker, and I was really tired of working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it was retail. Mm-hmm. And if you're not there, someone's stealing from you. If it's not your employee, it's the customers, right? So anyway, that was a lot of fun. And that's actually how I got in real estate. There was a real estate school right across the street from us. And I called over there one day and just said, hey, what does it take to get a real estate license? Because I had just bought a house with my wife. And I was pretty unhappy with the service we had gotten from our agent, who was a friend of our family. And I wanted to buy some investment stuff. And so I was like, I can't really use a different agent without causing a lot of riff in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see what it takes to get a real estate license. So the guy that answered the phone was brilliant. Like, he just had answered this phone before. He knew the script. I said, what does it take to get a real estate license? He goes, well, you got to go to school. This is back when you had to actually go to class.
Mm-hmm.
There's no online stuff. And I got one seat left, and it starts tomorrow night. And I literally couldn't get my credit card out of my back pocket
I'll take
fast
it.
enough. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Yeah, like this guy, get there, and there's 50 empty seats, right? So the guy did a good job getting me in there. But that's literally how I got in real estate. And we closed our golf store down December of 2005, and woke up, the January 2nd of 2006, didn't really have a job, and looked at my wife and said, what am I going to do now? And she's like, well, you have a real estate license. Maybe you should try that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me go to the office and see what this is all about. So, like, getting into it was a total accident, and then getting into short sales was a total accident. But
So it wasn't a lifelong ambition to do real estate.
no, I've lived here my whole life, so I know a lot about the valley. But yeah, there's zero connection in my family to real estate. No one's ever, like, we've been in the automotive industry for forever. In fact, my son now owns an online automotive store where he sells parts online still. So, I mean, it's several generations deep. But yeah, somehow I got in the real estate business, which is good because I love it.
Yeah, and you're good at it. So
Well, thank you.
I met you way back. It was grievance committee.
Grievance
That's
committee.
the first time I met you.
Yeah, I remember the grievance meeting that you came in, and you super happy to be there because you had just opened up Signature. Like it had to be fresh within a few days or
Yeah.
something, and you were pretty excited about it. So yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
How long ago?
Janet got me on there. She said you got to do something. So here I was.
Well, that's what Chris Bishop did to me. You got to
Yeah.
do something. So actually, I started at the board. I chaired the first, they call it Trends now, the Trends Committee. So I was chaired that first. That's where I started. And then, I've been in the grievance and now professional standards and finance committee and several others.
You still on committees now, or?
Yeah, so still on bylaws committee this year, still on professional standards.
That's good.
Yeah.
They need good people like you.
Thank you. I'm not sure that's true, but
It is true. So I mean,
so yeah, that's where we met, right? Was
Yeah.
back then. And so, what have you done down there since?
So I went. I did that. Been on professional standards. Been on the board of directors. Been on the forums committee. Yeah, just too much.
The BOD. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
That was good
I've been
times.
nudged to try that one, but I haven't yet thrown my hat in that ring. So.
You really want to make it tough? Go be the president of the Women's Council of Realtors. I did that too.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that would be tough.
Yeah, it was. That was 2013, right? The same year I opened this. I was halfway through that stint when I opened Signature. So, but
So
yeah.
you're busy.
Well, I was busy getting beat up by the women. That's
Well, they were here last night, weren't they?
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
You notice
I
that?
noticed you didn't show up. I
So-
stayed around a little bit, but not very long.
Yeah, well, I heard it was a good turnout though.
Yeah, it looks like that. A lot of people show up, which is good.
Yeah, no, it's a good organization. So is the board, and I think everyone should give back. I think you have to be careful because it's easy to get wrapped up into it, and they'll take, I don't want to say take advantage of you, but good people they'll
take everything you'll give.
mhm,
Yeah.
and it can really affect your business and other things. So there's a fine line.
Yeah, it's been good for me. I mean, I've enjoyed getting involved, and I enjoy some of the people that are down there that I've met down there and have relationships with now. So it's been good for me to get involved. I could easily have stayed out of it forever, and I'd been okay, but I got lucky, and Chris kind of pushed me in, and it's been good. I like it down there.
You ever want to run for the board?
It's a good question. It gets asked about every 6 months. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm against running for the board. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. It seems like a big, huge time commitment that I don't know if I can commit to. It's a lot of out of town, and
It is a time commitment. And the hardest thing is it's when they have those meetings, it's like all day. But it's very addicting because you're kind of in the know. You know what's coming down the pipeline. You're aware of what's going on. It's really a neat thing to be a part of. I think everyone, that has an interest in that kind of stuff should do it. I don't think you should make it a lifelong commitment, but everyone should do their their time, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
No,
I think you'd be
that's-
really good at it.
I think I have the same opinion. I think at some point I will probably run for the
Yeah.
board and put my time in there. I mean, I'd like to be involved. I like to help solve problems and get stuff going in the right direction. And I'm about the bigger group, not so much about. I'm more about the association and making sure it's right for everybody. So I'll probably do it at some point. I have a specific person down there that texts me every 6 months to remind me that I should be thinking about it. So, and I appreciate her. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's cool. And she probably needs your help. So
Yeah, I think that might be too.
yeah. So we're really excited that you've come over and joined us at Signature. I didn't think we'd ever get you out of your old company.
Yeah, I was there 14 years. I mean, it was a tough decision, to be honest, but it wasn't a tough decision. Like
Time was right.
Time was right. I can see the opportunity to grow here, and that's what's important to me. I mean, I don't want to be stuck in the. And I'm going to be really honest. One of the other factors for me was I'm pretty involved in the volunteer world and giving back to like the homeless youth, and I know you guys do a lot of that, and so. That would have been a challenge for me had you guys not been so involved in charity and volunteer work and stuff. So that made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to be here. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff for me to learn because I had been with the same company for so long. You kind of get blinders on, right? I mean, you kind of figure out this is just how it works and this is how we do it. And then you get involved in another company that's highly successful and you look around and go, oh, I guess there's other ways too. So I got a lot to learn.
But on the flip side, it's the same thing. You think, okay, you're doing all these things and everything's great. And then a guy like you comes in, it's like, oh, yeah, that is a better way.
All right, good.
You made a huge impact already. I've heard great things from agents, and I was talking to my son Tyson today. And
I got to sit down with him yesterday.
Yeah,
and
that's
have
what
a
he said.
conversation. Yeah.
So he was going through your scripts that you'd
Script
given
book.
him. Yeah. So he was pretty impressed. So
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get as involved in the Monday mastermind and try to get some script practice going with that. We're gonna put a little bowl out there and people can write their objections and throw them in the bowl, and then we'll just grab them out of the bowl and figure out what works and help agents understand there's always an answer to every objection. And quite honestly, most objections aren't objections; they're just questions. So,
right.
Yeah,
the
that'll
neat-
be fun.
And the neat thing is nobody's out there making new objections. I mean, there's only so many. So when you learn how to overcome them,
That's right.
you're golden.
Once you learn the scripts, it's good.
Yeah. And so you obviously run a successful real estate team as well.
Yeah, so it's a little small right now. Got a few agents on the team, and we've been plugging along here for the last couple of years. For a couple of years, I ran an expansion team for a very successful team out of Phoenix. They grew into the Southern Nevada market, and so we had two teams here in Vegas in two different offices, and then I had a team up in St. George, and then two teams down in Southern California that I was kind of I was called the regional manager. So my job was to hire agents and help grow their business, script practice with them, answer all those questions that people need answered. And so for a couple of years, that was my main focus, and that's why I think the sales manager position here fits so well, is because it's basically what I was doing.
What you were doing.
Yeah.
But I'll bet that was a challenge. I mean, I know a lot of team leaders or people running teams that can't even keep their local team going, and you're running them in multiple locations. I mean, what's the secret?
Support. I had great support. The admin team for that team was incredible. Like they respond quickly. They respond favorably. Did things that we needed done very fast, and they had great systems. I mean, I think any team, if you got good systems, you can keep a team running pretty easily if you put in the right systems. And I think the challenge for most team owners is they've been doing it from the hip for so long that they start a team and they just keep kind of going down that road. And you really got to stop, slow down, create a business plan, create some models and some systems and put them in place so that when you're not readily available, the wheel keeps turning.
Yeah, what I've seen a lot of teams, has been you've got a great agent doing some business. All of a sudden, they decide to start a team. Their production goes to crap, and their team doesn't make any money either. So, I mean, is there one way to structure it that works better over others, or are there multiple ways to look at it?
Yeah, there's lots of ways. I don't think there's one way that works. There's multiple ways, and I think the challenge is the the team leader, the team owner needs to understand that his role changes, her role changes. I mean, it's not just listing appointments and buyer consults anymore. It's training and teaching your agents and helping them along with what you're doing, and it takes time. And what most agents who start a team because they're running out of time, and it's more of a leverage thing. And that works. You can definitely do it that way, as long as you got the right systems in place, as long as you've got some models that people can look at to learn what to do with certain things. It's all the little stuff too that will slow you down the most. It's like, how do you got a buyer's agent that gets something under contract. How do they give that to you? Like, is that something they just follow you around and hand you a piece of paper, or does it go into some system, or how do they do it? That's one of the biggest challenges, ironically, is I got something under contract and it's 4 days after it goes under contract before the team realizes, oh, wait, we got to get inspections ordered and stuff done here. So it's just about systems. You can run systems lots of different ways, and that's custom to what the owner's goals are, what their vision for the team is, and kind of what business plan they put in place.
So would you say that you should be doing a minimum number of transactions or production before you consider opening a team?
Yeah, I don't know that it's a minimum number, because some people can just do more than other people can do when it comes to putting people into contract. I think it's about life balance. It's about, am I spending more time or too much time real estating, and my family's, and I'm not spending enough time at home or doing things I enjoy doing. It's not always home, but sometimes it's I don't have time to go play golf anymore, and I don't have time to go do this. So it's a life balance for me. If you have a goal in life to do certain things, then you got to build a plan around that. And I think building a team allows that. Building a team gives you the ability to leverage out some of your stuff and not have to put every single search in the MLS for every single agent or every client that you talk to. You got someone that does that part for you, and you can then do some other things in life. So I think it's about life balance. That's, for me, that's what drove me to start a team, was life balance. I didn't want to be, actually, ironically, the first day that I was in real estate school, remember that place where there were like hundreds of seats available, but the guy got me in. The instructor got up, and then one of the very first things he said was, if you don't want to work on weekends, you should leave now. And I was like, I literally raised my hand. I'm like, wait, what do you mean by that? And he's like, well, this business requires you to work on the weekends. And I was just like, man, I got 3 kids. I don't want to work every weekend. I got stuff to do. My kids play sports. So I made it a point in my business not to work weekends. So you can be in the business and not work weekends. Not never, but most of the time.
Yeah, if you're structured, right?
Yeah,
and
if you got a plan.
That's sad that some of the stuff that's told to prospective agents coming in the business in real estate school is very discouraging.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like some of the stuff that's said, why would anybody want to get their license? But
well, I think that's why they say it. They're trying to discourage people from getting in, which is weird. I don't know why we'd want to do that.
They already got their $350 for the school, so
they're not getting that back.
Yeah. So we're in the process of trying to get our real estate school open. And a lot of it is just so we can provide a different experience for people getting in. And then also I think it's going to create a good platform for us to be able to feed agents into our brokerage. And then that's why it was very important to find you and people like you, Chris, that are capable of teaching, training, and coaching these agents up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm excited to go in there and teach them classes. And
yeah,
I mean, one thing I learned when transitioning from the short sale business to the traditional business was I don't love the traditional type of real estate, meaning I don't love going on and listing appointments. Of course, I do that. I don't love working with buyers, but of course I do that. I love coaching. I love teaching. I love that part of the business. And so the more of that I can do, the better it will be for me. So
there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, cool.
So, and one of my visions is to, we've always had this saying at Signature, you're expected to be better. It's a privilege to work here, not a right. And I think some of the stuff that you guys are implementing with the apprenticeship program and the coaching program and that kind of stuff is really going to level up our agents and our brokerage in this market and beyond, because we do franchise our brand, and a lot of this stuff will be handed down that way too. So I think you're going to make a huge impact all across the country, really.
Cool. That's exciting. I mean, that's, again, timing was right to get here, and that's why I've seen a lot of opportunity to expand and grow and teach and do some of the things I enjoy doing in this business. So I'm excited.
What's your secret to get your team to show up every day? Because they're here every day making calls.
Two of them are not here today. Their defense, it's their day off, but that's okay. It's the model. That's it. It's just our business plan. It's the model. We join the team. The model is, we come to work every day. We come in, we sit down, we do lead gen, we do lead follow-up. Our business plan is pretty simple. We do 2 hours of lead gen, 2 hours lead follow-up, a couple open houses a month, thank you cards a day, and go meet with your sphere twice a week. So it's a pretty simple business plan, and you execute on this and you can make money, and if you don't, we're probably not a good fit. So, and then I'm available for them to ask questions and help them through some of the hard times and get them leveled up, as you called it. So I think that's a big draw as well. So
that's the other key too that I've noticed is not only is your team here, you're here with your team.
That's weird, huh?
And it's like you're there to support them, and you don't ask them to do anything you wouldn't do. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm here to support the agents of Signature. That's one thing I'm super looking forward to, and I've met with a lot of them now, and we got some stuff brewing. So the apprenticeship program is going to be awesome. I think that's really going to help new agents. I don't know, at my old company, I ran a mentorship program there for 10 years. So, I kind of jumped out of a little smaller program into a much larger program with a much more opportunity. So
yeah, this has potential to be pretty big. So hopefully we keep it in control to where we deliver a good product, but I think we will, because I think it starts with good people.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of good people in place. That's another good reason to come here, right? That was another reason to look at the leadership here and go, yeah, why wouldn't you go to work there?
So just be honest with me here. So we've been around since 2013, so almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years in May. Perspective from somebody at another company over the years, what has Signature appeared?
Anytime I've ever done a deal with Signature, with an agent from Signature, it's always been an agent that's doing the work. So many transactions that we do are with agents that don't show up, they don't return calls, they just don't do the job. They're just looking for that check at the end. Never done a deal with Signature that wasn't top notch, to be honest. Like, it was always, and I've had a couple that were maybe not super easy, right? We've had some challenges, we've had some disagreements, we've had some stuff, but it's always been handled professionally. I think that's a huge. That's to say to you, for what you've built here. That's what you're building. That's what you demand. Like, you just asked me, why do my people show up every single day? It's because that's what they got to do, and your agents do the right thing because that's what you make them do.
Well, we hope so.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just you never know, because we live in our own bubble, right?
Yeah.
And you believe your
I
own
lived
press.
in my own bubble for 14 days or 14 years. So
yeah, you believe your own press, so you just wonder what else is out there, what the perception is.
I think it's good, to be honest. Total honesty, you have way more agents than I thought you did.
Yeah.
I didn't think. You're over 500 now, and I thought it was maybe 250 to 300, but it's growing quickly. I think you're going to see in the next couple of years, it's just going to explode from 500 to 1,000 pretty fast.
Yeah, I believe we're the fourth largest brand in Vegas, and then we'd be if you take Keller Williams, because they're independently owned and operated out, we'd be number 3 if you took them out of it. But as a brand, I think we're number 4.
So when are we going to be number 3 and number 2, number 1? That's the goal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been my goal to be the largest, most productive office in Vegas, and I don't see why we can't do it.
Oh, you can. You can.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be a fun ride. It already has been.
There's agents that show up every day and work here. That's another thing that's interesting. You go to many brokerages and they have a lot of agents, but they're not there working. I'm not sure what they're doing, but the platform is there. This is a platform that they can jump off of and make a bunch of money and do a bunch of deals, and that's what we'll help them do. That's my vision. That's what that's what I hope I'm here for, is to help some of those agents that are struggling a little bit get on top of their business and make it purposeful and have a plan and execute on that plan every week.
So let's go back to Louisiana. your mission.
Louisiana.
I mean, a lot of door knocking, right?
A lot of door knocking.
You don't do any door knocking in real estate, do you?
I don't recently, but I have.
You have?
Done quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the lessons that you would say have helped you in real estate or in sales from your mission?
Well, I don't know if you know much about the South, but they're a pretty rough bunch down there. Like, if I knock on 100 doors, I'm probably going to see 3 or 4 guns in that time frame. So, I think what I learned that I brought into real estate was that everybody puts up a front. Everybody has something in front that they trying to hold you off. They don't want you to talk to them. They don't want to be a part of whatever you're doing. And religion's is pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's Southern Baptist down there, and it's pretty strong. And there's a lot of Catholics down there, and so bringing in the LDS religion, that was I don't even know how to say it. I mean, that was like I would have people tell me if I ever joined your religion, my parents would disown me, And so it was a hard thing to get in front of people with, and I think real estate sometimes is the same way. Nobody really. I mean, there's a $20,000 the government just offered the hardest hit fund for
Right.
$20,000, and we're calling and telling people they can get up to $20,000 worth of free money, and they're like, "I'm not interested." And you're like,
Because they
"Wait,
don't believe you.
yeah, I don't think you heard what I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's real, and so I think it's just keep going. Like when I was on my mission for 2 years, I didn't really have anything else to do. Like we don't have a job, and we just all we do is go around, knock on doors, talk to people, and help people, and I didn't really have anything else to do. So just keep going, doing what we're supposed to be doing, and something will happen.
And results happen, right?
Yeah, and real estate's the same way. I mean, that first phone call, that 10th phone call, that 200th phone call, maybe nothing's happened yet, but it's that 201 where you go take a listing and it all makes it worth it. So many people stop at 199.
Right.
So just keep going. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason to need to buy a house, and you should just figure out what that is.
So did your parents go on missions too, or?
No, they did not. So I'm actually in my immediate family, I'm the only one that's done that.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Is
And
it
that was
something you've
all-
always wanted to do, or what drove you to do that? I've always been impressed with the people who have actually taken the 2 years to go do that.
So I had the opportunity. I worked for my dad. I had the opportunity. I had some good friends, some very solid friends through high school that were all going. They were all a year younger than me, and so I actually left, 6 or 8 months after I could have left. And I think it was a lot of. I've always been fairly charitable in the sense of my time. Like I get charity, I get being involved in things other than me, and I seen that as an opportunity. And yeah, I don't know. I just had an opportunity to go. Did I always want to go? I don't know that that's true, to be honest. I can't say that, I could stand up in a room and go, I always wanted to go do this. But it was an opportunity. It was an opportune time. It's kind of like moving over here, and it made sense. And so I went. I did it. It was cool.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would do it again. I think it just has a lot to do with people. And that'll sound weird to a lot of people because I'm not a real people person. Like I will outright just tell you I don't really like people so much. But it's about helping people that need help, and that is what I'm about. So I do it again. Sure.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
So let's talk sports. You like sports?
I do. I'm an avid baseball fan. Love hockey now.
Yeah.
Didn't know the first thing about it till the night showed up, but I don't miss too many games.
Yeah. So you go to a lot of them.
TV.
Oh, on TV.
Yeah. So I've got season tickets at the Aviator Stadium, so I go to a lot of those games, but I don't go to a lot of Knights games, although I do have a partial package at the Knights for 2021, so I'll be going to more games.
Okay, so next year you've
Next year
got
I'll be
some.
going to more
Yeah.
games. But yeah.
So I've been going to a lot of them, and we're getting out next year.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it's such a neat experience. But when you go to every single game, every home game, after a while, it's like it's a little overwhelming.
Well, I have the same problem with Aviators. There's 80 like 86 game home games.
Yeah, see,
And
that's
they're-
double what the Knights are.
Yeah, and there's 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they're home for a 7 or 10 game homestand. You just can't go to all those games. And I use those tickets to give to my friends, and it's all good. I try to go to 1 game in every series, maybe 2, but yeah, you can't go to all the games. And that's why I bought a partial package for the Knights. It's only 11 games, so
Yeah.
that'll be good.
Where are your tickets?
Good question. The end of where Fleury defends first.
Okay, so he defends there twice.
Yep. And so it's just on the corner up about midway in the bottom bowl.
That's cool.
I don't
Yeah.
know the numbers or anything.
That's cool. So we've got great tickets in the Jack Daniels Lounge,
Okay.
center ice.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you and your wife 2 tickets
Sweet.
to an upcoming game because, like I said, I've
Awesome.
get a little bit. I don't want to say burned out. It's a lot. You know?
I think burned out's not a bad word. I mean,
Yeah.
just going all the time is just, and baseball's the same way. When I say I'm an avid baseball fan, my business plan last year was to make sure that I left the office by 3:30 because the Braves, and I'm a Braves fan, they come on at 4:10 every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make sure I could get home by 4:10 to watch the game. When I say avid, I mean like I got 2 daughters, 24 and 21. I promise you they know more about baseball than 90% of any other sports fan. Like they know statistics, they know people, they know
Wow.
everyone that's ever gone and played baseball from Vegas. So we're avid baseball fans, been watching it for years. And
But why the Braves?
yeah, it's a good question. When I was young, you had a choice of 3 teams, and you could listen to the Dodgers on the radio. And I'm an anti-Dodgers fan because that's my mom's a Dodgers fan. I got cousins that are Dodgers fans, and they all speak that we bleed blue thing. And so I'm a non-Dodgers. I root for whoever's playing the Dodgers. But you could watch the Braves or the Cubs on TV, TBS or WGN.
And which is interesting because that's why I don't like them.
Is that right?
Because every time I went to my father's house, they were on the
they
TV.
were on the TV.
And I'm just like,
Man, it's horrible. So you have to change
Yeah.
that because you're gonna start liking the Braves.
yeah, no, I like the Orioles.
You're an Orioles
and
fan?
and I
That's
think
not
it's
bad.
I think it's because they were in a World Series in the 80s.
At the
and
right time.
Yeah, and I just think that was kind of my first exposure to them on baseball on TV because
Yeah,
I
so
played
you-
Little League.
And you probably liked Cal Ripken. I mean, that guy.
Yeah, oh yeah,
That guy was a
he was
machine.
good for the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so favorite football team?
So I'm a Raiders fan.
Always
Probably-
have been, or just because
always-
they're coming here?
no, always have been. Literally haven't watched an NFL football game in 10 years. So, I mean, I support the Raiders. I'm a Raiders fan. I got Raiders gear, but I'm not a go get a Raiders ticket and go to the game and where it's just not. I don't know.
Are you excited
Football's-
for them coming out here? Or you don't really care.
I'm indifferent to it, to be honest. I was super excited when they moved the baseball stadium up to Summerlin.
yeah,
I like it up there. It's nice. It's a nice stadium. I enjoy going and watching the Knights. I enjoy watching the Knights on TV enough that I don't have to go to every single game, kind of thing. But football, it's just not my. I don't know. So when I was a little kid and I played what they call that, Pee Wee football.
Mhm.
Well, the first team I ever played on was the Raiders. So
there you go. That's
there you
why,
go. That's how I got stuck.
right?
Yeah.
And so, but that stadium's amazing.
Oh man, I can't wait. I mean, yeah, amazing is going to do everything. I can't
Yeah.
wait. There's I just heard they're going to have maybe a soccer game there to open the stadium, professional soccer game. Never watched soccer before, but I think I'm gonna go to that.
So we bought a few seat licenses there, and obviously with that you have to buy the Raiders season tickets too. But a lot of the questionnaires are coming out. Would you go watch Major League Soccer there? I think you'll see a professional team here because of that stadium.
Well, we have the lights now, but I guess they're not MLS.
I think,
right?
yeah.
They're just they're like an AHL hockey team. They're just a step below. So
Yeah.
I think we'll get. I'm excited to get a professional baseball team here. That'll be my.
How long do you think that before that happens?
Man, I don't know. The company in New York that just bought the Rio, like that's what they do is they buy property like that and then turn it into stadiums. That's kind of their thing. So
Well, and that's been talk. So
yeah, so they leased that property back to the Rio for 3 years. So
it won't be any time before
my
that.
my hope is 4 years we're good to go.
So right there, they're building. It looks like, I don't know if it's going to be a hotel. I don't know if it's going to be apartments, or I don't know if it's going to be condos. Just I guess it would be just north of that land. You can see it from the side of the freeway. I was driving there.
They're building. There is a, like right there on Spring Mountain where like all of Chinatown is.
I believe it. Yeah, kind of between there and there.
Yep, they're building a. Well, that's done now. There was a 5-story apartment complex they built right on Valley View and Spring Mountain, and then someone just wrote a contract and bought the Ted Weens on the corner of Spring Mountain and Valley View, and they're going to build a 7-story hotel there.
Hotel.
Yeah. So
yeah, because these
a lot of building going on.
These look like they might be condos. And if I was just thinking that would be a prime place to pick that up, especially if that stadium goes in there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of speculation on the stadium, but man, I'm hoping for it.
Yeah,
we'd buy season tickets there for sure. I don't even care what team it is. I can support 2 baseball teams. That's fine.
Right. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I can support the Raiders too.
Yeah.
But so being from here, this town's changed a ton, right, over the years. And what has professional sports meant to this town? How's it changed it?
I think it's made it a town. Like, it's amazing to me how the town comes together as a town.
The city.
Not to talk about October 1, but I mean just how the whole city just kind of came together when that whole thing happened and tried to make the best out of it they could make out of it. I think the sports is what's caused that. I think
Gave you
the
something
Knights have caused that by getting everybody together and having one purpose, and I think it's really brought the city together as a city.
It's kind of the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I buy into the housing market's going to explode because of professional sports in Las Vegas. I think this is my opinion. I think Vegas has enough people who fly in and out on a daily and weekly basis that's really how we'll support the professional teams at a high level is with visitors that come into town. I think that will grow our visitors. That then will help grow
everything else.
Yeah.
See, I hope it helps the city become less of a transient town, because Vegas has always been kind of really transient. People move in, people move out, and I think this gives, by the sports being here and the other things that come around with it, gives you more of a sense of community, which people are more likely to stay in.
More stability.
Yeah. So
like
that's what I hope
the
for.
Strip, and it's more of a city that people are used to living in.
Yeah.
With everyone driving around with different professional sports logos and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it's absolutely done. I'm actually surprised the amount of sporting activities that happen in Vegas on a weekly basis that people just don't know about.
Yeah,
for real. Like I was at a Rebels baseball game last Saturday, and there was a basketball game, and I think the Knights were playing that night, and there was something going on. I was just like, wow, I didn't realize
they were filming The Bachelor, and
they were filming The Bachelor. I don't know. Do you know Wally on my team? One of the guys on my team, his name is Wally, and he has been a videographer for CBS and NBC for over 30 years.
Oh wow!
So he actually shot when they were here doing The Bachelor thing. He was actually the guy behind the camera.
Oh really?
So he does a lot of that stuff. So so we get to stay in tune with that kind of stuff too, which is cool.
I actually had an agent of mine when I owned offices in Salt Lake before I moved here, and one of my agents actually was on The Bachelor.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she got drunk, took her clothes off, and they kicked her off the show after she got voted out. So it didn't turn out real well. But
that's part of being on the show.
She's a great girl. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I remember the newscast would come in. She didn't have an office. She didn't sell a lot of real estate at the time. And we'd set up an office like it was hers and everything. Yeah, it was cool.
That's funny.
So, but no, there is a lot of things that go on in this town that you never even know. So
yeah, with NASCAR coming here twice a year, and
right.
The golf tournament now the PGA comes here every year now.
UFC all the time.
Years. Yeah, UFC all the time. Yeah, that's been a huge, I think, driver for Las Vegas is the UFC and all the bouts and things that they do. It used to be, when I was a kid, it was professional boxing, right? It was heavyweight boxing that was kind of the driver of the Strip, and there was always keeping the buzz going because there was a big fight coming, but that's kind of gone away, and now I think it's UFC.
Yeah, there's just a few big fights a year now.
Yeah, and they're not even heavyweight fights, so.
Yeah, so what would you say in this town is maybe change that you might miss?
the ability to jump on my dirt bike and just drive down the street. Not
Right
get
out of your
busted
front
for
door?
it. Yeah, just right out of the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's grown so much. I mean, when I was a kid, I lived up off of Decatur and Alta area, and you could literally get on your motorcycle and drive out to Lone Mountain, and there was nothing out there, and you could just spend the day riding your bike or your dirt bike or whatever, and I can't do that anymore. It's just I have a guy doing some tile work at my house today that the very first ticket I ever got in my life was driving his car, and I wasn't 16 yet, and we got pulled over, and I was driving, and back then the cop called my dad, called him and had a call. Like when I got home, my parents already had known that, nowadays the call comes from the jailhouse. And so I kind of missed that small city, small town kind of feel. Because it's not the same for my kids when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like you got to be very careful nowadays. And so I kind of miss that. And I don't want this to turn into LA, which I think is like 10 times that problem. It's just all ghetto and all that kind of stuff. So I miss that, but I think it's for the better. I think it's good.
How long do you see yourself doing real estate?
I don't have anything else to do, so I don't know. I don't see an end in sight anytime soon. I'll do it for 10 or 15 more years, I think.
Till it's no fun, huh?
Well, as long as my joy right now in real estate is teaching and coaching, and so as long as I stay kind of in that world, I think it's a long time. When I was in the short sale business, my joy was getting on the phone, talking to people at the bank that said they couldn't do what I wanted them to do, and then helping them understand how they could, and that fight and that battle every day, and that was fun for me. That was the good thing. So now it's coaching and teaching, and that's what I enjoy doing. And so it may change at some point, I don't know, but I'm here for a while.
That's good.
I mean, I said in the meeting the other day, 14 years at my last company, and I got to beat that record here. So I got to be here at least 14.
I love it. So, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to come sit down and talk to me. Is there anything else you want to throw out there, something that somebody doesn't know about you?
Yeah, no.
No?
I'm excited to be here, though. So, I mean that genuinely. I know it's easy to sit over here and just go, yeah, I'm excited to be here because that's what I'm supposed to say. But even my wife has said, looks like it's working. Like
That's
I
good.
haven't been here very long, but she can see that, I'm eager to get here every day, and I got some purpose and I got some stuff to do that I haven't done in the past, and that's what's exciting to me is growing something new. So I appreciate you letting me be a part of this.
And now you know the alarm code, so we're good.
Yeah, I was a little nervous about that. I was like,
When it went off?
I don't know if I've been here long enough that he'll actually send me that code, but this is really annoying.
Oh, no, I would have given you the code. I would have responded quicker, except ADT had already called me. So.
Oh, there. So you knew somebody had bought.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It
I do
happens
have
a couple times a week, so it's cool. But no, I am really excited, and I really appreciate your time here, and you've already made my life easier, you and Chris.
Good.
I'm able to breathe a little bit and just know that 2020 is heading in the right direction, and we've got a great leadership team, and I'm excited to work with you. So
I'm excited for Monday. We're all going to sit down and spend some time together and
lay out the rest
of the year and figure out where we're going to go. That's
Very
exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yep. See you.
Thank you for listening to the Signature Life Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave a review and subscribe. Don't forget to also follow us on YouTube and Facebook.